They looking over what people are experiencing as children. Growing up, getting used to sleeping outside, getting used to sleeping on somebody's sofa, being abused. A lot of times, man, I used to find myself, when I was a young man, I used to find myself in trouble just because had to sleep at the wrong house, or I had to be wherever I could be. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody else won't let you in, but somebody who a deal or something, open the door and say, man, come in out the cold, you know. And that's why a lot of time when people used to get caught up in situations, they say, hey man, you know, it ain't mine, or this ain't my house, but people have to do whatever they have to do. And people don't understand that. And it becomes a pattern. It got so bad with me, I was home, like, I grew up. I was born in 1973. I was born in an area called The Bluff. My mama ended up being the president of Techwood Homes. My mama come from no background. My mama had nobody, so we didn't experience, that's my grandmama, that's my granddaddy. We don't know nothing about that. My mama got kicked out, was tossed around from house to house. She grew up homeless, grew up in the system. So when she had her kids, she was overprotective, but by her situation, what she went through, she learned how to love people. That got her to be the president of Techwood Homes. And I don't know if you're familiar with it, but that's the first housing projects that was built in the United States of America. Now, my mama, she was overprotective of her kids, but she knew how to love the community. So they got her to be the president. So she the president, then they had the 1996 Olympics. And they say, they wanted to kick everybody out and, you know, revamp the thing. So my mother was fighting for everybody to make sure everybody had good housing when they left, that they didn't just kick these people out and just start over fresh. So anyway, like I told you, my mama ended up dead, you know, and I was one of the last people to see my mother. I ran to go get help. And by the time I got some help, she was already dead. But her life, what she went through, trickled down into me, my brother, and my sister. Like, we ended up being homeless kids behind this. When we lost our mother, and this what the system don't pay attention to. And I talk to a lot of people that adopt people, and they say, man, I got this boy, I adopted this boy, I got him the new shoes, I got him the best clothes, he got a pretty house, and he's still acting up. Because that child is not connected to real love, or genuine love. So after my mother experienced that, me, my brother, my sister, we ended up being homeless little kids. I'm a 7th grade dropout. And I used to sleep in empty apartments and look at kids. My friends go to school. I would sleep in an empty apartment, look at my friends go to school and say, hey God, I can't be on the basketball team, I can't go to school, but you can't go to school homeless. And so I remember when grown people used to look at me and they would say, look at him, he need to be in school somewhere. And they didn't have a clue that a kid didn't have a home. And my reason for saying it is to say that these are things that happen as children to people, and it becomes a pattern growing up. Now, I'm a grown man now. I got me a GED, I done went to some colleges, I done learned some stuff. But my credit ain't never been, I ain't never really owed nobody nothing, but my credit they tell me no for everything that I ever tried to apply for in my life. So I can't go to a decent place and get me a place to live. And the places that do say, well, okay, we'll let you move in here, these are the places that they don't remodel.
I'm in fear for my life.
They don't.
They were shooting and the books and
yeah.
The lady at the red office went around here 10 stories. The supervisor at the city of East Point My name is London. They took 20,000.
It wasn't Miss Young.
I know she did. She put me in a hotel.
Let me tell you
so
the
I
story.
won't be outside.
Let me tell you.
She did.
And we ended up being 3 homeless little kids. And like I say, we was homeless. And instead of the community embracing us, and like I tell people, this is real life. This real life right here. 13-year-old girl, homeless, out there in the street, no family. Instead of the community saying, hey y'all, we need to make a circle around this girl and help this girl. That ain't what these communities are doing. These communities say, hey, go get her. She ain't got nowhere to stay, bring her over here. You feel me? Bring her in here. We'll help her get somewhere to stay. So this is what kids are having to experience. So me, my brother, and my sister, we these homeless kids. And we these homeless kids. And like I say, by the time I end up being, by the time I was 14 years old, I had to run away to the only place I ever knew, which was my hood. So I went back to my hood, and when I got there, I seen all my friends. My friends had on new clothes, new shoes. Some of them were driving cars, 14, 15 years old. So I was like, hey man, how did y'all get this stuff? And you know, what's going on? And they you know, they was in the streets. This is the time when the little era came, when the little hustling. So they say, yeah, man, I've been making me some money. I said, well, I want to make some money too. I need it. So they say, okay, boom. So age 14, I'm in the streets. I'm learning how to hustle. But I'm making money. I'm providing for myself. I'm paying rent. I'm 15 years old. I got grown people working for me now. You know, I seen that era. But I seen enough to say, hey, I can't do this. I lost too many friends. From the age of me being 14 to 20 years old, I seen too many deaths. I seen too many people go to prison. I seen too much. And by that time, I made up my mind. I prayed to God. I said, God, you got me. I didn't have no mama to love me. I didn't have no daddy to teach me nothing. I didn't have no uncles, no aunties. I was separated from everything that would have ever loved me, man. I was separated away from it. So people tried to love me. There was people that felt sorry for me, but they couldn't cure what was going on inside of not only me, but other kids too.
How did you act out?
I acted out. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. If any other child would have experienced what I would have experienced, I would have expected that child to want the first AK-47 and be mad at the world. But what God did for me in my life, because I was kind of like a weird, smart little kid. What God did for me in my life, He showed me that in this lifetime, that this ain't all we got. He showed me that everybody got to leave from here. And He showed me that He had prepared a better place, that was something afterwards. And this is what my motivation. This is why I couldn't get mad at the system. I couldn't get mad at my community. Hey man, y'all don't know how to treat no kids. The OGs in the hood, instead of y'all helping a kid that you know ain't got nobody, the only thing you can say is, oh man, here goes some dope. Or here go a gun. Or pull your skirt up. You feel me? So once but the situation got so bad. That as a kid, I made up in my mind to run to City Hall and beg for some help. Before I went to City Hall, I went to churches. I joined programs. I went to spiritual leaders. And I can actually tell you that the most wisest people who you think would be in these positions, you would think they would know what to do. Listen, they did not have a clue on what to do. They did not have a clue on what to do. And I tell people, I say, look man, Like for example, if the Bible say love thy neighbor, it didn't say write a song about it. It didn't say get up, talk about it. It didn't say, it said to do that. And in order for people to grow, people have to have people around them that care enough to help them grow. And there's a whole people out here that don't have nobody. I was looking at news the other day, and I just seen the statistics on in the defect system of all the kids that came up missing. I'm one of those children. You know, a lot of people say, hey man, he talked too much or he did. No, you can't tell me what you do for homeless kids, because I was one. And I was begging y'all. And not only was I begging, I was saying, hey, look, y'all don't understand. It's real bad. Listen, this is what they're doing to my little sister. This is what's going on. Grown people, ministers, preachers, well, I'll be praying for you. Well, I'll make a few calls and see what I can do. But there was no one there. There was no one there. So, like I said, if any other child had experienced what I experienced, I would expect them to act a straight fool. And I literally went to the mayors and like Shirley Franklin, she know me. That's me and Shirley Franklin, we sit down, we talk. And I said, Shirley Franklin, if we don't do something for these kids, y'all go see what we are seeing today. This what we're seeing today. I told them years ago about this, because I knew how I feel to feel pain. So when you telling a person about your pain and they just wiping it off because they don't feel that. You say, hey man, this is my mama dead, man. I ain't got no dad. I ain't got nobody. Don't nobody love me, bro. I don't know how I feel to have birthdays, holidays, Christmases. To this day, I don't celebrate those things. People look at me weird. They be like, something wrong with him. He don't celebrate. No one never celebrated Christmas with me, never. I was a homeless kid. During the holidays, I would go get on the MARTA train and ride to these places that I didn't know and hang out on the bridges. And then when the holidays was over, I would go back around people. And that's what I try to tell people. People say, hey man, what can we do to fix our communities? Love. Stop pretending. When you see a little kid that done lost, when you turn the news on and you see a house burned down and this little kid that lost his whole family and this little baby's the only one that survived. Sometimes these kids end up in a system that tosses them, man, y'all wouldn't believe it. And the pain is overwhelming. And I wouldn't expect nobody, man. It's only by the grace of God, and I give God, the most high living God, to make the sun rise every day, the birds and the fishes and the dog, smart enough to make 4 fingers on a thumb and an eye that can see and an ear that can hear, that God. I give him all the glory, all the praise, because that's the only way I could have made it through, was from my higher power. If I had depended on my family let me down. I got family members out there right now that know they some kin to me. But whatever happened in my family, the family secrets, the reason why my mama was cut off from the family, they don't want nothing to do with it. The government, I go to the government. Everybody that be born, they make a record of it. So why don't I don't know none of my family. Why can't I just go find out who am I connected to? So, long story short, we end up with nobody, and we end up being our self-motivators. And I encourage people, man, to just look to your higher power and ask him for strength. But after you fall in love with your higher power, fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with yourself. And it's a mathematics, it's a science. Certain things you got to cut out of your life in order for you to grow and learn how to make it through this big old world. As big as this globe is. And you can honestly say, don't nobody on this whole globe, don't nobody love me like that. Sometimes people got to tell themselves that and be honest, because it's true. if I don't get up and go do something, it's not gonna happen. No one loved me like that. So we end up being homeless, and as I get older, I'm noticing that, for example, like what my wife was talking about, she ended up, we went and rented these apartments, and we paid them 4 or 5 months ahead of time for rent. So after I actually started doing a little job for the community. I started being the landscape for the community. And so we ended up with 2 apartments. Some new people came in and bought the apartments, and they for no legitimate reason just stopped accepting my wife's rent money. They just stopped taking her money for no reason, because, like I said, I was working for the company. And so the lady would say things like, your husband gonna be working with me, he gonna be with me all day, and don't be looking for him and stuff like that. So she just stopped accepting my wife's rent money for no legitimate reason. So 3 months go by, that's when the rental assistance program came out. So you had to actually do this program with the landlord. So we went down there, we did the landlord, we did like half of the application or whatever. And the landlord was like, okay, well, we'll fill like the rest of it. So whatever they did, they jacked the price up. They made it seem like we owed more than what my wife was owed. And like I say, it wasn't a legitimate debt, because they shouldn't have never stopped accepting her rent anyway. But for the little 3 months that we were behind, they jacked it up, and they actually took my wife to court and evicted my wife after the judge said, y'all got 7 days to get out. We went back to the apartment. The next day, the landlord say, look, I'm holding a check for $20,000 from your wife. So we got evicted. They got a check for $20,000. And we ended up being homeless for 2 years behind that. Now, my wife told you some of the places that we slept at, in vans, in abandoned houses, in tents. But my wife didn't know that a lot of time that I left her, like if I made sure she had somewhere to sleep, I would just sleep outside, train stations or whatever, So I'm noticing that when it comes to apartment rentals, that the landlord, they don't invest into their properties. They, instead of fixing the mildew, they just paint over it. They just paint over the mildew. You got kids coming in here to live in here. Particular apartments where we at right now, mailboxes. I can't even get my mail because the people steal your mail, because the mailboxes are wide open. Don't nobody got no mailbox key. Don't nobody got no mailbox key. The mailbox is just wide open. The darkness, they don't even provide proper light out here. It get dark about 7 o'clock. If you was to come through our apartments like 7 o'clock, completely dark. I feel sorry and extremely worried for any elderly female or anybody that got to get off of the bus and just make it to their house. It's easy for somebody to jump out the bushes, snatch them in the bushes, and nobody never see a thing, because there ain't no lights, there ain't no cameras. And
Are you familiar with the rent control bill that's pending approval?
Yes, I heard a little bit about it, but I know for a fact they most definitely need a rent control, because the landlords are out of control. The landlords are out of control.
What have you seen? What's the craziest thing you've seen?
Man, the craziest thing that I done seen, you want to hear the craziest thing that I done seen? It's a trend going on now. It's a trend going on. I don't know if you ever seen the movie New Jack City, but in the movie New Jack City, people buy up the property, Nino Brown, they buy out the property and they turn all the people that live inside the community into customers. This is the new trend that we're going on, what a lot of people don't know about. So you got disabled people, you got females out here that got to be subject to violent nature apartments and properties because the landlord down with it. The landlord down with it. And what's going on here, when I first moved in apartments, I had a man walk up to me and say, hey, my name blah, blah, blah. I'm just let you know I got the blah, I got the blah, I got the blah, I got the blah, blah, blah. So whatever you need, spin it with me. Listen, man. This is what's going on. You got people actually being bullied in their communities. And like I say, you got these communities that the properties, they got mildew, they got termite, they got bugs. You got people walking around with guns, you got shootings, killings, murders, robberies. And then every month these people want their money. For example, where I'm at right now, if you was to go on the website and look at the website or what they offer, it's completely different from once you, after you pay your money and move in.
Like what's
Ain't no security.
They say there's security on the...
Yeah, ain't no security. Ain't no swimming pool what they showed you. Ain't no gym what they showed you. Man, like I told you, we can't even go to our, if you were to pass by the mailbox on your left and just look, they complete, I can go down there and get anybody mail.
How much you paying a month?
He's $700 a month.
And how many bedrooms?
2 bedrooms.
And what was it when you first moved in here?
How much was it?
Have you seen rent increase?
No, I haven't seen rent increase yet, but somebody just bought the property. Somebody just bought the property, so we're expecting, because 9 out of 10, that's how it always ends up, you know. So it's just weird, man. It's like now that people are actually slave to the landlord. And I'm not mistaken, you know, I heard a lot about these bills. They want to pass this law where the landlord can put you out in 3 days. That's so he can hurry up and trick somebody else, steal somebody else's money, get them in there real quick. But you got landlords that they know what's going on in the community, and they don't do nothing to try to change it.
Look right here, yeah.
Okay.
No, you can look at me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they don't do nothing to try to change it, you know. Like I say, people's safety is very important, you know, especially when you got a community that's filled up with a lot of females, kids, and disabled people, you know. And like I say, in these particular apartments, the mildew, the windows, they don't lock.
What about groceries? Have you seen groceries going up? And have you been able to afford food? And, I mean, do you ever go hungry? Do you know people go hungry?
Oh yeah, I know people go hungry all the time. It's just like I said, I give praise to the Most High Living God that we kind of been in a position to be kind of help people out a little bit.
Yeah.
But we got people come here that we feed, that we help, because they have nowhere else to go. And you know, I try to get them to get on camera, but a lot of people are just camera shy, and they just want to get, you know, they just don't know how to they don't even know how to ask for help. The programs that say we're gonna give you food and we're gonna help people, the people don't have no way to make it to these places. And then some of the people, even if they gave them a basket full of food, they don't got nowhere to take it and put it at. You know, so
So how can we change all this? What's the big problem? Is it corporations? Okay, first of all, do you vote?
Yes.
So you're a registered voter?
Yeah.
All right. Who did you vote for in the last election? You don't mind me asking?
The last election, Donald Trump.
That's good. I voted for Donald Trump too.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't say Biden. Cause
Yeah, I voted for Donald Trump.
Why did you vote for Trump?
Well, I voted for Donald Trump because I'm a firm believer in the Most High living God that created the sun, the stars, and the moon. There's nobody that can tell me about creation. Ain't nobody smart enough to make no bird fly around and no fish swim and no eye see and no ear hear. So God is awesome. We're going to nip that in the bud. And I learned in my life that I have to start trusting God. Now, I don't know what a lot of people thought about Donald Trump, but for what this country was going through at that time, he was like the missing piece to the puzzle. I'm 50 years old. I've been working for myself my whole life. I'm actually legally blind. I'm sitting right here looking at you right now, but I do not see your eyes, nose, or mouth. I'm legally blind unless when I put my glasses on, then I can see. But when I take them off, I can't see. I was a homeless kid, legally blind, but I learned how to get up, cut some grass, do some work. But when I tried to start businesses and all, man, it was these fees, and it was extremely hard for somebody who didn't have nobody to even get a start in life. My credit, I didn't owe nobody, but because I had never established credit, no, everything. When Donald Trump literally got on TV and said, I don't care if you do hair in your living room. He said, go down there and get you a business license. Let us help you start your... Tears came to my eyes when I heard that man say that. That man said, I don't care what you got going on. If you working, I don't care if you at the bottom and you ain't got nothing but 2 customers. He said, come down, get your business license. Let us help you start, set you up for success. Man, so many people I had to watch struggle, man, because you got good people out there that got skills, they got talent, and the fees and the way they got it set up for you to get a business started was just extremely hard and confusing for people. Soon as Donald Trump got in office, they had money coming around. They was giving out stimulus checks. They was doing so much to help the community. And a lot of people, and I hate to say this, they not really Trump friendly because Trump big on people going to work. And a lot of people didn't understand that. Because Donald Trump say, hey man, I don't care if you handicapped and your arm like this. Donald Trump said, get up, let's go to work. That is somebody who's trying to make somebody be productive. And what made me draw even closer to him when he said, you got handicapped people sitting at home who people just push them in a corner, treat them like a vegetable. He said they want to go outside. They want to do stuff. He said they don't want to be pushed in a corner, throw a sheet over them and leave them right there. He said if he got one arm, if he can pick up the phone and answer the phone, let him answer the phone. If it's something he can do, let him do it and give him money for it. So that'll make his life just a little bit better.
Why do you think black people, why do you think the news wants to put him in a bad light and other black people are buying into it?
Well, from what I done seen in my life, like that example that I gave, that you got people who, for example, if this person was on drugs and I was the one selling him the drugs and I was getting rich off of this guy, if you could come up and verbally speak healing into this person, if your words can make that person say, man, I don't want no more drugs, that means your voice is taken away from the pocket. Your voice, because your voice has power to make a person realize or give them strength to overcome.
So Donald Trump has a good voice.
You got to shut people up like that, man. You got to shut them up. You got to lock them up.
So you're saying I want you to say they're trying to shut Donald Trump up, right?
Listen. If they don't shut him up, they cannot win. Just his voice alone, with the things that he's saying, because it's fact. I grew up. You remember I said I was a homeless kid. Remember I said I ran to City Hall, and I ran to City Hall. I said, hey, look. They said everybody in my community is saying that my mama killed herself. Because when people set you up to get killed, they set it up to make it look a certain kind of way. So I said, hey, look, I was the last person there that seen my mother. I ran to go get help. I know she didn't kill herself. But people are able to control people better when you are in fear. When you are in fear. I ran for help. I was a homeless kid. I ended up working for a lot of Democratic people. They would do these programs, and I would see them get all this food, all this money, and people ask me, said, Jerome, how did you know these things? Because I was right there. I seen it with my own eyes. I'm not going off what nobody ever tells me. I won't speak on nothing what nobody tell me. If I say something, that means I saw it, Jerome. I seen them get grants. I seen them get money. And they fed their household. I seen this. I had preachers to come pick me up from empty apartments, sit me down and say, Jerome, what do you think about this? And we would sit down and put together these plans and these strategies to help the community. And they would use my ideas to get grants and then drop me back off at an abandoned apartment. They don't feel. You ask the question. You said, Jerome, you said, what do you think we can do? I'm going to be honest with you. Until we put feelings back into people, they not going to never, because what you're doing, you're raising heartless people, man. You're glorifying it. You're making it cool to, I can blow your brains out and just eat a sandwich. We making that cool to be heartless and to be careless and to be selfish. We got music, different music that we listen to that energize the kids. I don't believe it's an accident. I heard a man say, he said he called the radio station and told the radio station he want to pay them money to put a song on the radio about him killing animals. They would not let him put that on the radio. But every song that we hear that's especially inside the black culture, N-word, I'll kill you. N-word, I'll take your wife. N-word this, I'll take your money. I'm better than you. You this, you that. You a bum, you ain't this. So what this is doing, this energy is separating us. I would never allow a person who think like that close to my family. It's an art of separation. Versus every other culture that they'll jump on a man if he disrespect his wife. They'll jump on a man if he go against his family. They make them stick together. They make them love one another. They are taught how to help one another. But our songs say, I got more money than you. And they ain't talking to the light-skinned people because they got way more money than them. They the one who give them the money. So we are saying these things to our own community. We break down our own people. And just to sum it up, just to answer that question, until we teach these people the order of love, and teach them true mathematics and science. Bruh, I'm not gonna let you in my house if your heart really believes. If you sing a song, say, I come in your house and I take over your house. And that's where your mind is. I'm being nice to you because I see that you're going through a struggle. But in your mind, you think I'm a weak person or you're going to take advantage of me in some kind of way because it's cool to do that. Once we remove that right there, once we remove that and start raising these kids up to show him that, hey man, you ain't no better than him. And if you is doing better than him, that you better be thankful because sometimes all life had to do was put you on a different pair of shoes. I told my friends used to try to compare their life to mine, and I would say, bro, your mama fix you breakfast. I don't know how it feel for nobody to fix me breakfast, bro. You don't understand. It's little things like that. I don't know how that feel, bro. So you look at it like it ain't nothing. I'm sitting over there, I'm looking at you like you blessed just because you got somebody that care about you. So until we get back to teaching our youth the difference between right and wrong, man, you don't want nobody to kill your mama, man. You don't want nobody to kill your mama, so why kill somebody else's mama, man? You don't want nobody to do that to your sister, so don't do that to nobody else's sister. When we start living back, like when we go back to the basics, then you will see change. I don't give a dang because you open up no program. I got programs that I do. I used to go out into community and I used to get kids jobs. And I used to send them to these big companies that paid these kids a lot of money. I had to stop doing that because I had to learn the mathematics and the science. I can't send these kids to this job and this young boy don't know how to act on the job. Real life. I had a young boy tell me on the job right in front of the supervisor. He said the checks was 30 minutes late getting there. The young boy said, where the checks at? He said, oh, they running a little late, but they should be here in 30 minutes. The young boy said, well, I can't speak for everybody else. He said, I'm gonna speak for myself. He said, if my check ain't here in 30 minutes, man, you gonna have a problem. You gonna have to call for security. The supervisor immediately looked at me. And I immediately, this was a young man whose mother called me and said, my son is getting in trouble. He need help. And I got him a job. So I immediately looked at supervisor. I said, hey, don't worry about it. I got it. And I reach in my pocket. I look at his timesheet and I pay him the money out of my pocket, tell him he can go home for the rest of the day. And I call him back if we need him. But I had to cut that short. So now what I learned from that situation was you got to train the kids before you send them to somebody else's job. That can be a lawsuit. Somebody can get hurt in there. You can't just open up a program and say, we're going to do this. No, man, you got to make sure the mindset is right of the kids and the people. And that's why I say until we go back, man, it's just a revolving circle. You can't. There are certain offices that people shouldn't be allowed to hold. For example, a non-profit organization is a non-profit organization for a reason, because it is supposed to rightly divide the help among the people. You're not supposed to have a prejudiced person or somebody who's going to be biased or somebody who's going to say, oh, y'all just gave us 1,000 free laptops. I'm going to give them all to my friends and then I'm going to sell the rest of them out the back door. I'm not going to give these to kids that need these laptops. I'm not going to give these things away for free when I can make $20,000 off of this